Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Jason, the creator of I Am Legion for Dying Light 1 and 2, and I'm here with the ultimate edition of the mod looking at update 14, and I'm going to release this very shortly. And I wanted to kind of highlight some of the things that I've been working on and also talk about some of the upcoming features that I'm continuing to develop. So this is the ultimate edition. With that, I have been trying to balance a much more intelligent AI to try to combat the increasing intelligence of the biters. And this has been a very tedious, very slow process. The human AI was never meant to really go out into this environment and fight these enemies, especially ones moving this quickly. And so this has been a interesting push where I've been trying to look at, can we get these guys behaving more naturally inside this environment, and can we get them to where they even stand a chance? And so as you can see, there are still glitches, obviously. One of the things that I just mentioned in the previous video for the casual survivor is that we do now have the idea of AI moving across the world, running across the world, climbing, and trying to get away from these zombies. But with that comes challenges of, do we actually have them be able to maintain climbing and actually not fall to their deaths and that kind of thing. And the challenges that I'm facing is that basically they have a lot of that code hidden away. I found the actual system that manages falling, and I actually could write a tripping system for the walkers and that kind of thing. But the problem is that these guys are basically the actual functions to call, and what I can actually do in set is not clear. So I'm continuing to look at this to try to determine if I can improve this system here in the future. But the focus has primarily been on, can we get these guys inside the environment and pair them with the ultimate zombies and actually make them fight, actually make them crawl the city like the actual player, so that they are not immediately slaughtered on the ground. And so that's been the focus. And as you can see, as I'm mentioning, that they are starting to actually use the environment to climb and move around. This is going to have its glitches, of course, and it's something that I'm continuing to work on. I did want to make sure to get this update out to you guys. It does cover a lot of the glitches that were in there that you guys have been reporting, so that it is getting more refined. I do have things like summoning reinforcements and some of those issues where they were having trouble drawing their weapons. There are still the occasional glitching, but these seem to be much better than they were the other day. And actually having these guys position themselves up high and actually shoot down at the enemies is working much better. If you'd like to see more of this, you could switch over to the casual edition, where actually you could see the shooters firing down from multiple stories up, bowmen actually firing down on the zombies. And that kind of concept. So there, you do end up with very unique situations inside the game now, ones that are not scripted and can't be often repeated. So that's one of the challenges with recording these videos and kind of sharing the progress notes, is that it's continuing to look at, a world that is driving itself through randomization and through the AI. And so because of that, I don't always see the same thing each time. And so hopefully you guys can continue to trial and error this code and let me know how it's working. Let me know what you like about the system. Let me know what is game breaking for you, that is unacceptable, that is just breaking the immersion, because I want to continue to drive forward these systems, but at the same time I'm also not looking to mess up this experience for the player. And I do realize that with the human AI, essentially at this point, it's just a numbers game. Like, they will, especially in Ultimate Survivor, all of these guys are going to get wiped out. But I did think it was interesting trying to look at bringing human AI into the harder, more difficult version of this mod, to determine, can that actually be done. And the end result of this is probably where I'll have to add a balance to where if you're playing the Ultimate Survivor, these streets are not populated as fully with the bandits, as it will pretty much just equal tons of loot all over the place. And so those kind of balancing things are still happening. I'm still trying to figure out how those look for the final official version. I'm still waiting for the momentary release of the actual updated version, and when that comes out, I'm continuing to try to balance in those difficulty settings. But just to kind of reiterate a point that I've been trying to make about this 1.0 release, and one of the reasons that it has been delayed, is that with 1.0 official, it will be split into 3 official different versions with 3 different balances. So the one GitHub project will essentially get split into 3 different ongoing branches that have to be completely balanced out. And so for that, it's a challenge trying to get in all of these features and discussions that we've been having, and then also deal with things like major updates and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to give it a good pass and making sure that this new update happens, that we're able to get that into the system first, and then we're able to do the split so that we're not having to refactor or have increased number of bugs due to just oversight. And that really is the concern that I'm having with trying to deal with this many enemies. So one of the other systems that I worked on that I did successfully get working was their ability to throw Molotovs. The challenge that I started to run into is that they did it too well. They were starting to throw Molotovs often, and the issue that I started to run into was that they would basically catch everybody on fire, and they would all just essentially get scorched earth. And because of that, I've turned that off for now, so that way I'm not messing up anybody's quests, any specific storylines that require certain actions. I want to make sure you guys can actually get through those without fire being a problem inside the game. And so continuing to look at those systems, along with the ability to throw UV flares, grenades, all these additional inventory items. I'm continuing to look at it, but basically they didn't give me a lot of those options, and so I'm continuing to try to see what is even available. So as I mentioned, in the casual version, I have several new things that I've discovered while working on this mod. I've mentioned a couple of the things that I've been working on, and I'm going to keep looking at new systems, and I'll be trying to release some of those here shortly. I will not be releasing things like the kid zombies or anything like that in this edition, because I want to continue to balance things and kind of understand the needs of what you guys are wanting inside the system, and along with what those optionals actually are. I have a whole list of things that I want to set up as optionals. That's also a ton of work to support optionals inside the system. So I want to make sure that we have good solid feedback and a good system in place for figuring out what those are before we start releasing that many different subversions of the mod. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. This is just kind of a preview of a chaotic city. So to mention a couple of additional things really briefly, I have toned down the rainy weather, so you should have more bright skies and less storms and rain inside this environment. And then along with that, I've also tried to rebalance some of the AI to where I've pretty much removed throwing knives at this point, seeing how they basically end up getting spammed for most of the open world characters, and it leads to them just getting slaughtered. Most of them, it's not a very good system, and I'm trying to refine that and improve that, but that will take time, and I want to make sure that system is maintained before adding it back. So another additional system that I'm excited to mention is that the AI will also, all of them should be moving around the environment now. They should be actively searching for the player or NPCs. If they're unable to find the player or other NPCs, they will start to scatter around the map and look for the player or look for additional NPCs. And so this leads to a lot more of these infected crawling around the city and searching for the player, especially on the Ultimate Edition. So hopefully that continues to bring a new chill and thrill to your gameplay, so that you never know if you're going to upset these guys and have them running up the sides of the buildings. I have tried to tone down their ability to climb straight up from the ground, so I have tried to make it to where they will actually go floor by floor, in the hopes that this will start to make them gather across the different floors rather than just scurrying up to the tops of the buildings and all hanging out at the top. All right, guys, I look forward to your guys' feedback. I hope you guys have a great weekend and look forward to continuing to develop this mod as it goes. Thank you guys again, and happy gaming.